What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got something special to show you today that I'm going to be working on. Got an 86 K5 Blazer that we're going to be prepping for blasting. This is one of the nicest K5 Blazers that I've ever seen as far as originality goes and lack of rot. I mean, if you know anything about these trucks, they always rot right here, back here. I mean, this truck is completely solid. The doors are solid. Front fenders are solid. I mean, just an awesome example. I mean, you've got some rot, but overall, just such a clean truck. I think it's got 90,000 miles on it. It's got a little bit back here on the tailgate. I'm guessing where water just kind of got in and then just sat. But the top has never been off of this thing. It is such a good example of what one should look like. If you're buying one, this has everything that you'd want to look for. So anyway, when I quoted this, me and the customer had talked about taking the fenders off and you know, doing everything basically except the top. Jams, all that. And then when I got it and saw just how nice it was, look at the factory jack still there. I mean, everything is here. This truck has never been messed with, so I don't think that it needs to be pulling apart, especially it's going back white. So I didn't want to be the guy that starts taking bolts off of this thing just because. So we are going to take, you know, the grill, the headlights, the bumpers, side markers, this trim, this side trim, you know, emblems. These aren't going back on it, so they're gonna be gone anyway. So may end up taking the cowl panel off just so I can get both sides and look at what's under there. But you know, protecting all the windows, the cab top will be done, and then protecting the top itself. We're not going to take that fiberglass top off. We're going to protect it, and probably end up having to come a couple inches down on the blasting just to make sure we don't get into that, because this is just such a clean example. I don't want to be the guy that messes anything up on it. But I mean, just such a cool truck. You don't see them this clean, especially not around here. They're always jacked up and somebody's sunk them in a mud hole or something, so there's rust and crud packed in everywhere. But I think this truck came from Florida, and it must have not been coastal Florida, because there's not any, I mean, there's some scale on the bottom of it, but it's such a good truck. So I'm gonna get you guys set up and just start tearing this thing down, protecting the glass and trying to get as much off of it as we can. Obviously I'm gonna bag and tag everything so that when they go put it back together, they can know where everything went and it can keep some of its originality, but some stuff's gonna have to be replaced. I mean, those just get brittle and crack over time, but the rest of the grill, pretty good shape. So anyway, yeah, I'll get you guys set up and I'll start yanking this thing apart. If I come across anything cool, I'll be sure to show you. Okay, so a couple days later here, got pulled off in a couple different directions and didn't get a chance to really do much. So you might be thinking, what happened? Give us an update. Here's what's happened. I moved it. That's it. So I've got some tools, some drinks, speaker, bags, marker, tape, yada yada yada. I'm gonna get set up here and then get to it. I moved it over here because I didn't know if I was gonna need the lift or not. Some of these bumper bolts might be a little easier if they're, you know, up in your face. So let's get set up and get tearing down on this 86 K5 Blazer. GoPro died, so I'm not sure exactly how much of that we got. I think we got most of it, but little update here. Basically got the whole front end stripped. You know, grill, it's all right here, labeled and bagged and tagged with the bolts, but grill, the trim around the grill, the headlights, the trim around the headlights, the bumper, this trim around the fender, the mirror, these moldings here, whatever they are, they're just adhesive on there, so a little heat gun took that off. I think I'm gonna have to take the inner fenders out to get this off, which kind of sucks because I didn't want to do that, but we'll blast those while they're out too. But yeah, about 2 hours ish, and we got this far, so maybe another 2-3 hours with the back bumper. That's going to be kind of tricky, and then probably 2 hours of taping off, maybe even 3 hours. I did a 57 Chevy back at the beginning of this year for Vice Grip Garage, and I think I had 3 or 4 hours in just masking on that car alone, which I know this doesn't have, you know, all the stainless trim that did, but this does have quite a bit of glass and quite a bit of stuff that needs to be protected. And then back here I'm gonna have to get kind of creative because I'd like to blast, it's kind of dark but I think you can see it, I'd like to blast this this inside of this tailgate. I don't want to take it off because I don't want to deal with all this mechanism here, but I'd like to blast this, and the glass is in there, so I could, you know, cap this off maybe about 2 inches on both sides, and the glass will be protected. But the inside of this, I'm gonna have to, if I end up doing this, I'm gonna have to build something either out of cardboard or plywood or something and put it right here just to keep stuff from going in there, because you can vacuum it out, but you definitely don't want ricochets hitting the glass or any of this stuff on the inside. Really, it's so nice, I don't want to hit any of it. So gonna have some more, I'm gonna imagine that these are bolted on too, which stinks. Maybe they're not, I bet they are. Lights got to come out, all this bumper, and then we'll just run a tape line across here and up. And honestly, I haven't even looked up here. How bad is it up here? Not too bad. I don't know how much of this we'll be able to get anyway, but yeah, it's coming along. All right, guys, a couple days later here on a Monday morning, gonna finish tear down on the Blazer here. Yeah, not a whole lot going on as far as interesting stuff to find. This is an extremely clean Blazer, so for the most part, all the bolts are coming out with just regular old hand tools. So I'm gonna get set up and keep tearing it down. All right, so the GoPro keeps turning off on me, so I will tear this down and then I'll give you guys an update. Okay, so a few hours have gone by, but basically I've got this thing, I think it's stripped down as we're gonna get it. Rear bumper's off, this trim piece is off. Trim piece fought me a little bit. Had to get kind of creative in here. And surprisingly enough, I had to drill out one screw there, and I had one of the bumper bolts break on me, but every other bolt and all these pieces down here came right off. So pretty crazy. I got the, the mirrors off, fender decals are off, all of that trim's off, and then like you saw yesterday, the front end's stripped down. Still debating on if I'm going to take this cowl panel off or not, just because there's so many edges here that I think would look a lot better if we blast them all, but I don't know, then it's kind of a can of worms because I'm probably not doing these edges. maybe I will, but definitely not these edges back here. I don't know. The perfectionist in me is kind of annoyed that this truck is so nice, because I would just take it all the way apart if it wasn't so complete. But since nothing's been off of it before, I'm kind of having to not do as much as I want to. But anywho, I think the back end up here is going to clean up pretty nice. I was super happy that we were able to get this bumper off and all this trim off, because I'm able to get back here now. And then the lights, obviously, I'm able to get all these edges too. Didn't end up taking the inner fenders out up front. There was just a lot involved with that. You ended up having to take the washer fluid reservoir out. The jack had to come out. All that stuff that's never been off before. So once again, left it. So I think next step, I'm going to mask everything off, and then I'll give you guys an update. And then I don't know if I'll blast it in this video or the next video, but should have it blasted tomorrow. So stay tuned. All right, another day here on the Blazer. Got some cardboard, got some tape. Let's get this thing prepped. Okay, so finally got this thing. I think, well, I just see one spot that I missed, but pretty much prepped. The front half is really well taken care of. The back, since I'm not doing the top, I'm really only worried, you know, here down, and I can kind of control my blast angle to go down and not into all this. So who knows, I may end up having to kind of readjust on the fly and maybe hold a shield across here. But that seems about the only spot that might give me some trouble. I gotta cover that spot. Yeah, it took a while to get this thing prepped. I mean, I went over all the windows with this pretty dope, where is it? 3-inch masking tape, which is really hard to find, but it helps if you gotta cover a big span of area. Helps make quick work of it instead of this small 2-inch stuff. So went over all the windows with that, you know, covered them completely. Then went over with cardboard, and then went around the edges with the black Gorilla Tape. I think it'll do good. Sometimes I do have issues with, like in the areas, even if you press it down real good, sometimes the blasting will catch under there and they'll just kind of peel it off like a sticker. But I think it's pretty well covered. Took the windshield wipers off. Not going to take the cowl panel off. It was going to be too difficult for what we're going for. So I need to scrape some of this off. Maybe scrape some of this adhesive down here off, and then that'll probably be it for this video. And then in the next one, I'll get you guys set up and I'll show you the blasting. And I don't think we're going to find anything. This isn't, like I said a million times already, the straightest K5/Chevy truck that I've ever blasted. So I don't really anticipate finding anything interesting, but I'll definitely show you guys the before and the after. Alright guys, so check this out. She's done. Well, done is a loose term. My portion of this project is over with. So I got all the masking off for the most part so I can see. Yeah, as per usual, the hoods are just one of the Achilles heels when it comes to blasting. It's just so much easier for the next guy to take a DA and clean that up. Same with all this. So all these edges will get cleaned up. I don't know what they're doing about this window trim. Wasn't discussed with me, but all these edges will get cleaned up. All the edges down the top line. All this residual tape obviously will be gone. I'm not taking this top off. Painter can do that if he wants to, but this is an original truck. Top's never been off. I am not going to do that. So I will get this blown off as much sand as I can. See the roof up there. And then I'm going to get all the parts that I took off loaded into the back of it, and then I'm going to load this thing on the trailer, take it to the paint shop, and that'll be it for this one. So appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, comment. If you got any questions, drop them down below and I'll get them answered for you. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know, I don't do the TikToks. My wife runs that. But yeah, if you got anything, let us know. Appreciate it.